Up dog.
Up dog. Up dog.
Up dog sports talk.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Up Dog Sports Talk.
Up Dog.
I am your host, Justin McGovern, and I am joined by my co-host to my left over here, wearing a hoodie that does not have sleeves, Matt Miller. Please do not flex.
Let's go!
But we do have an exciting episode today. We're going to be talking about
Very
NFL
exciting
football. To start off here, Matt.
So, with this new segment, we will be talking about players in the final year of their NFL contract. This offseason, where will they go? What will they do? It doesn't matter because it's time for Deal or No Deal.
Deal or no deal?
And this is a segment where we get to choose where they go, what they do. Both sides have to agree to a deal. If we don't think both sides can do that, it'll be a no deal.
Yep, it's got to work. It's got to work for both sides, or they're moving on.
Yeah, so who's going to be a free agent, who's not? We'll find out. Justin, who do you have first?
Well, this is a show about NFL football, the only football that's good enough to be played in Roger Goodell's basement. And because of that, we don't want to have people knocking on our door telling us that we need to talk about Dallas Cowboys. So we'll go ahead and get them out of the way first. Dak Prescott is first on the list. Dak looked at the deal last year of $30+ million and had the balls to say, no, that's not enough.
And Jerry Jones came out and said, my hands do not cramp writing checks.
But apparently his hands do get cramps writing checks
Yeah.
because they signed him to a franchise tag instead. Dak now looking for another deal. Got hurt this year. There's definitely a lot of questions. How is he going to look after the injury? But on the other hand, I mean, the Cowboys are definitely a mess beyond the quarterback position.
Way beyond.
I mean, obviously the play calling stinks. They don't know what they're doing up there offensively. Mike McCarthy might have fooled them at this point into giving him the job. But
The game is a little different when you don't have John Madden choosing your plays for you there, Mike McCarthy.
I know you made it look so easy in his basement, but
Whoa, what a hit.
he'll remember that number.
Throwback to Madden 98. No one will ever get that except for us.
Oh, definitely not. But the offense still worked better with Dak in there. They were losing games at the beginning of the year because of the defense. The offense was moving. I'm going to say that at this point, the Cowboys are pretty much bent over backwards. They need to make a deal for Dak. I'm going deal on this one.
I am going to go no deal.
No deal.
I agree with you. The team will try to sign him. But I think Jerry Jones' hand is going to cramp up again, and he's going to hand him the franchise tag. If I'm Dak, I don't accept a deal. Mm-hmm. He's going to have to take a pay cut to get out of there. But if you look at the state of their team, they're not going to go anywhere soon. That offensive line isn't the offensive line it used to be. Zeke is not the Zeke he used to be. That defense somehow
I think
worse.
Zeke's just almost done with it at this point. He is just...
But that defense got worse. Mm-hmm. I don't know how that was possible.
So bad.
But Cowboys, he is the Cowboys' best option. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they're going to have to re-sign Andy Dalton, and ouch.
Or even Gary Gilbert? Or I don't know what his name is. G. Gilbert. That's your next
the
option beyond
cartoon
him.
comic Gilbert. But he has a chance to start on almost any other team. Mm-hmm. He might as well just take a pay cut, take $25 million on 4 years, and then just try to get a new contract when he's 30. I'm going to go with no deal. I don't think Dak should go back to the Cowboys.
A bold move.
Bold move.
And for you, who do you got?
First on my list is the old man who can almost have a football team with his kids, Phillip Rivers.
This man has been like pumping out children for years. It's
I know.
ridiculous. Like, how many kids does he have? Like 12 kids?
I think he's up to 9 or 10.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
I overshot a little bit. Give him a couple years. He'll be there.
So we've learned from Phillip Rivers it is not his fault things fell apart in San Diego / LA. It is Anthony Lynn's fault. We will get to that part later.
Oh, definitely.
But Phillip Rivers, old as hell, still playing at a high level. He found T.Y. Hilton again, so that offense is starting to click. He's no longer throwing cinder blocks or ducks. He is throwing missiles right into the hands of T.Y. Hilton. Their passing game isn't the weakness, so I have to go with Deal on this one. But if I'm the Cowboys, or not Cowboys, wow. The Colts. Whoa. If I'm the Colts, I only give him a 1 or 2 year deal. Because he is getting up there in age. He did start the season off a little rough. You got to get a running back to go with him so you can start changing the offense once he declines. And try to move on after that. But he'll get you to the playoffs. They're almost there.
Yeah.
They just have to hold on.
To make it right now.
And then this is one of those deal for both team and player scenarios. Teams obviously benefiting from it. Phillip Rivers has nowhere else to go except for some high school team.
Yeah, it's some high school in Alabama.
But I think he wants to continue playing, especially if they make the playoffs. I think it'll kind of cement his career. So deal for Phillip Rivers.
I do have to say, in my mind, definitely it's either a deal or Phillip Rivers is going to go coach high school in Alabama. He's looked better the last several weeks. I feel like they are rounding into form, and I think that will indeed lead to a deal for Phillip Rivers.
First time we agreed.
I know, yeah, we agree. We agree on this one, but are we going to agree on the next one?
We'll see.
I have Leonard Williams, the defensive lineman from the New York Football Giants.
Batman, the G-Man.
So Leonard Williams was the number 3 overall pick in the draft to the New York Jets. The Jets traded him to the Giants after he was disappointing, and he has performed very well for the Giants.
Very well.
He is definitely a key piece in how that defense has improved throughout the year. He's definitely going to command a lot of money because that's what defensive linemen do. They're very valuable. They go out there and try to sack quarterbacks. Every team needs them. So he's definitely going to command a lot of money. And I would have to say that for that reason, I'm not sure if the Giants should pay on 1 year production. This is his best year by far. And it kind of is interesting that it happened to go on in a contract year. Maybe he's catching on to the NFL now, or is he just playing hard because it's a contract year? I don't want to take the risk. If I'm the Giants, I'm going no deal.
We're back to disagreeing, Justin.
There we go.
Leonard Williams came from the dysfunctional Jets to the equally dysfunctional Giants. And he went from
I would
3
say
or 4.
equally dysfunctional. Remember,
not equally.
Remember, there's no dysfunction that meets the Jets' dysfunction right now. That franchise is a gigantic mess.
The Jets really probably shouldn't have a football team at this point, but the Giants still competing for the playoffs. They're probably going to fall out of it soon, but their defense is playing very well, led by Leonard Williams. He has 8.5 sacks. That's a career high. His previous career high was like 7 sacks in his third season. The team kind of needs him to be productive in order to be successful on kind of against the run game and the pass game. He's just such a big presence, and that's not supposed to be a pun because he is 302 pounds.
He's a big man.
But he did lead that defense to a strong outing in the second half of the season. He will get paid. I think he should stay in New York. They don't have a whole lot of people to pay right now. He's one of the few bright spots. Give him the money, start building something there, and then we'll see how it goes. Deal.
Ka-ching!
And then for my next pick, I got the Homer pick.
Ooh. Who could this
AJ
be?
Green. So,
Oh, man.
with Andy Dalton gone, we have seen AJ Green's production drop a lot. He's been injured a lot lately. I am taking deal on the scenario that the Bengals give him 8 to 12 million or 8 to 10 million. If they need to do any more, it benefits AJ Green, which is what he wants, but he hasn't produced like that. So give him 8 to 10 million. You have to try to keep a veteran presence in that locker room. John Ross is also on his way out. That's not that. I mean, John Ross is terrible, but you need another body in there at least. So give AJ Green a little bit of money. I wouldn't give him the 12 million that 12 to 14 million that is kind of rumored to what he wants. But Tyler Boyd is starting to produce a little bit. T. Higgins starting to produce a little bit. You have AJ Green even not producing that much. Yeah, he's going to be that veteran leader for the Bengals offense.
I'm going to disagree with you on this one. I think the Bengals, on one hand, the receiver room is pretty loaded right now.
By the way, that was a deal for
yes.
the Bengals.
I figured you were picking deal. The Bengals receiver room is loaded. Among the many, many issues that they have, receivers not one of them. AJ Green has struggled this year. Mike Brown is just cheap in general and probably won't even get him to $8 million because Mike Brown just doesn't want to spend money.
Mike Brown is terrible. He is the worst owner. You think Dan Snyder's bad? Mike Brown is even worse.
They don't even have an indoor practice facility. I think AJ Green would like to be able to practice in a real facility every time it rains, which it does rain a lot here in Cincinnati.
Yes.
I think that AJ Green, nearing the twilight of his career, I think for him, it's best to go ahead and get out. Try to see if you can get yourself on the Packers or something like that. Somewhere that's going to contend for a Super Bowl. Also, to add on, just to pile on here, Zach Taylor seems like he's not a good coach. The Bengals aren't even close to firing him. I'm going to say that AJ Green should move on. No deal.
Get out of here. Who you got next, Justin?
Up next, we are staying in the AFC North with a real true Rust Belt guy here. Obviously, you know when we say that, we're going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Defensive lineman, outside linebacker, rush linebacker pretty much. He does it all. Bud Dupree. He has been an absolute stud for the Steelers. A key piece of defense. You notice that the defense is actually... Obviously, the defense is still good, but it's dropped off a little bit since Bud Dupree's been out. However, Bud Dupree's going to command a lot of money. He's going to be looking to get paid this year. And you look at the Steelers cap room, they're like in the bottom 4 in the NFL in cap room entering next year. The Steelers aren't going to have the money to pay him. He's going to move on. No deal.
Disagreeing again.
Oh, I think we've disagreed on almost all of these, actually.
Yeah, except for Phillip Rivers. That's about it. For me, I hate talking about the Steelers because I have to try to say something nice about them. But here's that nice thing. The team is led by its pass rushers and their secondary. They kind of go in like hand in hand. You have a good pass rush, the corners and the safeties can cover long enough, you're going to end up with a sack. They have Bud Dupree playing at a very high level, but TJ Watt is playing at an even higher level. Bud Dupree is kind of the second option in Pittsburgh, so I see why you say no deal. I was on the fence at the same time, but the Pittsburgh Steelers are probably one of the best run organizations in the NFL. They pay their players, they treat them nice, they compete for championships every year, almost every year. And that's the reason why I have this as a deal. I think he likes it in Pittsburgh. He likes playing with those guys. He likes playing across from TJ Watt. So I'm going with deal.
I can definitely see that. I just their cap situation is going to be rough.
Yes.
We'll see what they can do. I know on the Steelers end, they're going to want to do this.
Yeah. They're going to want to get that. They want that production. And they're not going to find that in free agency.
Definitely not. Although it does seem like they tend to draft defensive linemen off of trees, pretty much.
Yeah, that's true. Up next for me, another wide receiver, big hands, Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson.
Bears have struggled the last 3/4 of the season. They don't have what it takes offensively to just go up and down the field at will. Mm-hmm. That's why receivers are a luxury. You don't have a quarterback that can throw to that receiver. You don't have any business having that receiver. So the team is going to want to put a deal together for Allen Robinson. But if I'm Allen Robinson, I'm saying no deal.
I do have to say, Allen Robinson's been trying to work to get a deal with this team all year. He has produced very well, despite the fact that he wants a deal or he wants out. He's had piss poor quarterbacks throwing to him.
Yeah, terrible. Terrible quarterbacks.
I would have to say, with how the team just refused to make a deal during the season, Allen Robinson's just going to be like, okay, I'm not part of this rebuilding project. I'm out of here.
Well, he's proven the last few years that he can be that number one receiver. Mm-hmm. This is his third year in Chicago. The last 2 years, he's gone over 1,000 yards. The only reason why I didn't the other season was because he got hurt. He's going to get money. He's going to get paid. Might as well go to division rival Green Bay Packers.
Oh! Hey, we're going to try to get every receiver to the Packers, aren't we?
Yeah, every single receiver on this list could go to the Packers at one point in their career.
And yet, so far with how the Packers have been not wanting to play anyone around Aaron Rodgers, they'll probably end up signing none of these people.
Yeah, probably not.
Also, just to clarify, definitely no deal. We're actually in agreement here.
Yeah.
But next on my list, we're going to keep with the receivers. We have a receiver from the Texans, Will Fuller. He's finally stayed healthy.
Notre Dame.
Finally stayed healthy. He produced very well, and then got himself in trouble with PEDs and got suspended for the rest of the year. So this one is a difficult deal. He's still going to command money. I feel like it turned out to be an innocent situation. Someone in the Texans screwed up because Bradley Roby also got suspended.
Yeah.
So I think the Texans pretty much accept that they're the ones that screwed up. That being said, Billy O'Butchin...
Billy O. Stooge!
...was such a terrible GM that he just totally screwed this up. They somehow don't really even have that much cap space. But at the same time, I mean, they don't have any draft picks either to get anyone around them. I mean, they're going to do whatever they can to surround Deshaun Watson with something. I'm going to say deal on this one because they have to keep him. They absolutely have to. Watson needs someone around him.
Watson does need someone around him. They don't have a first-round pick this year. Mm-hmm. I looked it up. They do have one next year.
No second-round pick this year, though, either.
Yeah, that's true. So they're going to fall pretty hard next year. I'm going to say no deal. And here's why. He is a deep threat receiver that, in the past, has either gotten injured, suspended, or dropped passes in big moments. Mm-hmm. They know his history. He's not a number one receiver. He's a really good number two. He's a number one receiver on a bad team that can't get him the ball. I think he needs a fresh start. It's time to move on from the Texans. It's time to go somewhere else. See if you can right the wrongs that you did in Houston. He will miss playing with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is fun to watch, fun to play with. But if I'm Will Fuller, I say no deal to that. Texans are going to be dysfunctional. Even if they get a good coach in there, they're not going to be able to compete for a couple years. Might as well move on and maybe go to the Packers.
Do anything to move on from the shambles that Billy O'Butchin left this franchise in.
And switching from offense to defense.
Here we go.
A name that not many people outside of Baltimore know. Matt Judon, outside linebacker. He is kind of like one of those unknown players in the NFL that puts up decent, solid numbers. Kind of the heart and soul of the defense, but not a team leader. And I think he led the team in tackles last year or something like that.
He's a stud, but not really that well known.
Yeah. He's not TJ Watt gets all this attention. Matt Judon kind of had similar production over the past few years. The only thing is, the Baltimore Ravens have no money because they're going to spend all of it on Lamar Jackson. They can't afford him. I'm telling him, move on. You're going to get opportunities elsewhere. and people have been like GMs have been watching him, so they know his production. They know what he's worth. Move on. No deal.
I'm going to say that Baltimore is one of those pretty well-run franchises. They usually know how to work things. They've got a few old guys that they're going to be more willing to part with instead of Judon. I think those older players are going to be more likely to go first. They'll be first to go. I think they're going to find a way to work it out with keeping Judon around. He's one of the young studs of the defense. Yeah. They need him.
They should. Sure. They should keep him around, but nah.
I'm going to say deal on this one.
You're wrong.
Deal. Ka-ching.
And who's your final pick?
So we're going to wrap this up with...
You know I have another pick after this, right?
Oh, you got one more?
Yeah, you started this, so I end it.
Whoops. That's true, yeah. I was trying to cut it off at 9. All right. But we are sticking with defense on this one. Very well-known name, Richard Sherman. He has been one of the top zone corners in the NFL. He got hurt this year, but has played pretty well when he has gotten to play. Up in his deal, I would say that for him, his ability to earn is going to be capital. He's getting older. Not a lot of people are willing to try him outside of that zone defense. I would say that the two of them will work out a deal. It's not going to be extravagant by any means, but I think he's going to stick with the 49ers. I think he likes what's going on there. He seems happy. I'm going to go deal on this one.
He does seem happy, but he is kind of into himself. So he's going to demand some money. The team has had a lot of injuries this year. They know that they have Nick Bosa, a few other people on the defensive line. They got to pay Deebo Samuel at some point. They're probably either going to try to upgrade their quarterback, which Kyle Shanahan has never ruled out, upgrading their quarterback, or they're going to pay Jimmy G. They need a number one corner. I think they're going to move on from Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman's still playing at a high level, but gets hurt now. Plus, that division's getting a little tougher. There's a few really good quarterbacks there. If I'm him, I either go back to the Seahawks or I just try my luck. I just try my luck on a different team.
Wow,
yeah, I'm gonna go no deal, Richard Sherman.
No deal.
No deal.
I do have to also say the 49ers have a lot of cap space.
They do.
But
they're going to have to pay a lot of people. Who's going to get cut out?
That'll be interesting. Is it going to be Jimmy G?
Is it going to be Richard Sherman? And to wrap up this list, not prematurely this time,
I was a little bit ahead of myself.
I am actually going to skip right over the stats and get to the biggest, fattest deal in history. Colts with T.Y. Hilton. If you do not do this, you are going to be labeled as the biggest stooge of an organization. The Colts have had Marvin Harrison, then got Reggie Wayne. A little bit overlapping. Harrison retired. They got T.Y. Hilton. Had Reggie Wayne and T.Y. Hilton. Reggie Wayne retired. T.Y. Hilton's by himself. They got Paris Campbell. Paris Campbell's not playing like a number one receiver.
Well, he's been hurt all year.
Yeah, but
Michael Pittman's emerging now.
He is emerging, but if you look at the first half of the season, what the offensive production was when they were not throwing to him, and look at the offensive production when they were throwing to him.
It's very interesting how this whole thing went down because T.Y. Hilton overall actually wasn't even playing that bad to start out the year. It just seemed like they didn't...
No, they just didn't get him the ball.
Yeah. I don't know if it was Phillip Rivers or the offense play callers. They just didn't script him into the game.
So
maybe they were wanting him to be fresh for the end of the year or what it was.
T.Y. Hilton did go on the Pat McAfee show and was talking about how he was willing to be a team player, knowing that this is a contract year.
Definitely.
And he said that, or he gave clues as it being the play callers, not Phillip Rivers. Some of it was probably Phillip Rivers not having that chemistry with T.Y. Hilton. But as soon as Phillip Rivers and the play callers kept giving T.Y. Hilton the ball, they put themselves in prime position for the playoffs. They set his value. They set his value. So if he leaves, they're screwed.
And Chris Ballard and the Colts are a well-run organization. I think they will end up keeping T.Y. Hilton. I'm thinking he gets his money. Yeah, I'm going deal on this one. Ka-ching.
All right. That is the end of Deal or No Deal, presented by us. We don't have any sponsors, so just us.
No sponsors.
We do have a couple more things on the list.
Definitely.
Big topic this week on our show. Dingus of the Week. We introduced this on our first
Dingus?
Or second. Yeah, Dingus.
Yeah, Dingus.
Dingus of the Week is someone who does something stupid
Incredible.
that we just have to talk about. The lone person at the top of this list is Marco Wilson from Florida. Your team,
Oh, man.
Your team is in position to go to the playoff. Not saying that they will, but they were in position to go to the playoff. You're facing a 3-win LSU team. You take off the shoe of the guy you're facing and throw it, get flagged. LSU goes down and scores to win the game. Like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? I mean, the best part is, they made a key third down stop. LSU had the punt, and for whatever reason, he just gets up and shuts the guy's shoe. I don't know what he's doing. And the best part is, listen to the ref call the penalty, too. I think even the ref found it ridiculous. He literally calls the penalty and goes, personal foul, throwing the opposing player's shoe 20 yards down the field. The ref literally said that.
You dingus.
I mean, this is just one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. I've never seen anyone do... I haven't seen many people do things this stupid on the football field. This was incredible.
Outside of that, it would have been Anthony Lynn.
Definitely. I mean, I do it... Before we finish on Marco Wilson, I mean, he might end up... I'd say he's even the dingus of the year.
Yeah.
It's going to be impossible to match.
He took over Adam Gase's sole spot. And dingus of the year award goes to Marco Wilson from Florida. Ya dingus.
I mean, just the stupidness of the action and just how funny it was, too. Yeah. And what was at stake at the time.
What compels you mid-game to a guy you don't know to throw his shoe down the field?
The best part is, and Dan Mullen ended up trying to defend him. He called it a regular play.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about? No one does this.
No one.
But let's talk about Anthony Lynn, our second dingus of the week. Wow. So in the time since our last
terrible play calling,
in the time since our last show, he's actually managed to do multiple dumb things. So we start off with last week. They are approaching halftime. They're in position to score, and they run one play in 40 seconds, run out the clock, and don't get anything.
No.
Terrible. I mean, how in the world do you manage the clock so poorly as an NFL head coach? Normally, to get to that level, it has to take so much. How does it take? How does that happen? How do you do that as an NFL coach to run one play in 40 seconds?
I don't know. Anthony Lynn is on our hot seat. He's on everyone's hot seat at this point.
This guy.
He's on a lot of people's fire list. He's on our fire or not fire segment.
So I'll even say last night they're playing the Raiders. I end up staying up for this because I'm this is Anthony Lynn in the game situation. He's going to do something stupid. And of course, the Raiders are driving to win the game. Marcus Mariota had a fantastic game last night. But
fantastic game.
Unfortunate pick.
Best backup quarterback?
Yeah, I would say.
He made $1 million.
This might be his team.
He got $1 million bonus just for appearing in that game because Derek Carr got hurt.
So lucky. Oh, man. How nice would that be?
That would be so fantastic. Backup quarterback might be the best position in football.
Oh, definitely. 100%. But, I mean, I don't know. It could be Mariota's team now. He played very well last night. But, unfortunate pick there at the end of the game. Puts the Chargers in position for the game-winning field goal. And so they get down 51-yarder. You can already tell the kicker looks nervous. And, I mean, the last thing you need to do is think about this more. What does Anthony Lynn do? He calls a timeout and ices his own kicker. He iced his own kicker.
What a dingus.
I mean, I can't believe this guy. And to think that people wondered why the Buffalo Bills hired Sean McDermott instead of Anthony Lynn.
Yeah, people are starting to see it now.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. But
our last year-end award. What is it, Justin?
The Dingwall Award.
So to preface this, a quarterback for San Diego State that we're the only ones that know who he is outside of his family. His name is Adam Dingwell. He threw 6 picks in the first half against Ohio State in like 2012. And ever since then, we have come up with a yearly award, and we call it the Dingwell Award.
I honestly don't know how like this came about. Like I remember there was like one day where you were stuck with like a bunch of Ohio State fans watching this game against San Diego State that you did not want to watch, but somebody put up with it, and then we both just like started cracking up because this guy just kept throwing picks.
Just like, come on,
This guy was so bad.
I'm pretty sure that was his last season starting.
I'm pretty sure it was his last game starting. Like he got benched like midway through, and the rest of the game was even less exciting. Yeah. But I don't know if it's the last name Dingwell that just cracks us up or what, but there's even been worse quarterbacks since, and this award has stayed in
it just
name.
rolls right off the tongue. The Dingwell Award.
So basically,
say it at home if you want to play along.
There we go. But basically, this is the quarterback that throws the most picks, or just overall is like the worst quarterback in college football.
And this year, that award goes to
Chase Bryce from
Duke.
He threw 10 touchdowns and 15 picks this year.
He also had a 54.7% completion percentage, which is bad.
Very bad. You could argue maybe it's the talent around him or it's him. By the way, this stat line is pretty awful.
Pretty awful, yeah.
Yeah, you look at how people, you look at the quarterbacks. Usually you expect them to throw more touchdowns than they throw passes to the other team. That was not the case of Chase Bryce here.
A lot of other people on that list actually had more touchdowns and interceptions. So
overall, it's actually a pretty good year for quarterbacks.
Yes.
But Chase Bryce is not one of them. I don't know. He seems to not like what's going on there at Duke because he transferred out of there.
Yeah.
He's in the transfer portal now. It'll be interesting to see if he can go somewhere else.
Will he win the Dingwell Award next year?
For another team. That would be a first.
Yeah, that would be a very first. Stay tuned. Keep watching us all year round to find out.
And I do have to say, overall, the Dingwell Award has just been swept by the ACC. The ACC had more picks than anybody. Second place was Jeff Sims from Georgia Tech. Third place, Malik Cunningham for Louisville. Fourth place, Virginia's quarterback, Brennan Armstrong. It's just incredible how the ACC managed to sweep the top 4. But we do need some honorary mention here for more bad quarterback play. KJ Costello, he looked like he was going to take the SEC over week 1. He threw 5 touchdowns against the defending national champs LSU.
How many has he thrown since?
1. He threw 1 touchdown the remainder of the year, and then got benched with a record of throwing 6 touchdowns and 10 picks.
A few years ago, he was actually a big name for Stanford.
I know, and
now he's in Dingwell Award territory.
Everyone was like, "Oh, what's he going to do with Mike Leach? Throw a bunch of picks." They do throw a lot, but he threw a bunch of picks. And just one last shout out to the Wyoming Cowboys, who their quarterback threw a touchdown to tie the game against Nevada and bring it to overtime. They ended up losing that game in week 1. Wyoming has not thrown a touchdown pass since.
That is
how about
awful.
that?
That is awful.
That is impressive. How bad that is.
He almost deserves the Dingwell Award at this point.
I don't know. I don't know how they did that. I didn't look up if they've been swapping quarterbacks or what, but what in the world? How in the world do you go the rest of the year not throwing a touchdown?
That is your homework assignment. Somehow tweet us, message us on Instagram, find us on Facebook. Let us know what you think. That's the end of the show for this year.
Yeah. Obviously, there was some big news that happened.
Huge news, which we will be covering in 2021 with the holidays coming up. The Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred finally redeemed himself. He is no longer the worst commissioner in sports. He's now the second worst behind Kevin Warren. He decided to recognize the Negro League as a major league. Now there's a laundry list of players that will get inducted into the Hall of Fame, put into the record books. Names like Josh Gibson, the best catcher of all time, Oscar Charlton, the best center fielder of all time, a lot of players nicknamed Pops. All of them will be talked about by not just us, but everyone. A lot of news sources are coming out with a bunch of articles about it. That is the big news. Big news.
Definitely a lot of studs getting a lot of deserved recognition.
Hey,
a little bit late, but
hey, Rob Manfred, let's give you a round of applause.
you finally made a good decision.
Yeah. And we are also working on a new intro. I know you guys like the intro, love the intro.
Or maybe they hate it.
Yeah, you could hate it too. That's fine.
Yeah.
We're probably going to change it anyway. So working on a new one. I hope you guys like it. Don't know how many episodes into next year that I'm going to be able to get to that, but it's coming within the first 12 months of next year. And then working on editing to give you guys something other than just this.
This plain background.
Yeah, we're going to do
And
something
the
a little
light
different next
above
year.
me that is so bright that you can't even see my hair. Anyways,
We will see what this show gets for Christmas, and then probably buy it ourselves. Yeah.
you know.
Thank you all for watching today. Find us on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. All of them you can search at Updog Sports Talk. This is at Justin McBikes. I'm Fatso Phils. Follow us on social media. Give a like to this video. Give a comment. Subscribe to our channel. Let us know how we're doing. We took off. We're up to 20 subscribers, so thank you for the 20 people that actually follow us. Thank you for the 40 people that actually watch us like every other week. But yeah, just spread the word. We're getting better, I think, right? We're getting better.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely not subpar anymore, I think.
Yeah, we just hate goodbyes. We hate ending shows.
I know, yeah. I think we do take 5 minutes to end the show, but
Yeah.
hey, this is our last show of the year.
I hate goodbyes. I don't. Yeah.
Well, I do have to say this is a year that most are probably going to want to say goodbye to. So
Yeah.
with that, a goodbye to 2020, and can't wait to see you all in 2021.
And have a happy holiday, whatever holiday you celebrate. Today, on the day of recording, is the last day of Hanukkah. We have Christmas. We have Kwanzaa. Whatever you celebrate, have a happy holiday. Stay safe. And spend some time with family on electronic devices, not next to each other, because that's not proper COVID protocol. But have a happy holiday, and we'll see you guys.
Have a great
next
new year, everybody.